Well, hello there. It's Crazy Cheap Chick, and tonight we're going to have taco soup. One of my saving strategies is to use every bit of food I buy. So last night we had tacos, and we had leftover hamburger meat and leftover chopped up onions and leftover chopped up tomatoes. And I just thought, I'm going to throw this all together and make a soup. So let's get busy. Now, a lot of people would throw this bell pepper out. He's just kind of on the edge of his lifespan. But we are going to cook him, and he is going to be just fine. You're not going to notice that he's a little shriveled at all. People throw away too much good food. And into the pot she goes. And since we had tacos last night, I had a lot of leftover onions, so I'm going to add those in as well. I had bought a bag of these mini sweet peppers. I was going to stuff them and bake them, and I never got around to it. So before they go bad, we're going to throw them in this soup too. I've added in the peppers, and we're just going to saute these in a little olive oil. Now I'm going to add some olive oil. And I'm also going to put in some garlic. Some people like garlic, some don't. I really do. I don't, to me it doesn't have that strong of a taste. I need to get these tomatoes roasting. Now you could, I'm just drizzling some olive oil over here. And these are those dollar tomatoes I bought off the clearance rack this morning. You could just buy a can of fire roasted tomatoes if you don't want to take the time to roast them. This was not a financial decision. This was a taste decision. I just think when you roast them yourself, they taste way better. I'm going to put a little cilantro, tequila, lime seasoning. I think I'll put a little bit of this adobo. But you can put whatever seasoning you want on these. Some people like red pepper or just basil and oregano, just whatever you like. I got this beautiful kale, so I'm going to throw some of that in there too. To me, kale has hardly any flavor. And I just put it in for the fiber. When I buy clearance kale, I always think it does better if I take it out of those plastic bags and put it into a container. One way that I save the most money is just by a very efficient use of leftovers. I have a half a box of this beef broth that I'm going to put in here. And since we had tacos last night, of course, the onions were left over from that. And here's some taco meat that was left over from the tacos last night. And most tortilla soups use chicken. But since I have leftover hamburger from the tacos, it's going in the soup. I had a few beans left over from last night. Not very many. Most people would have thrown those out. But I'm going to tell you, my grandma, if there was a tablespoon left, she saved it. And now I'm that way too. And I'm going to open another can of these pinto beans that I found at one of those grocery salvage places and paid 50 cents for it. They're pretty good beans, though. We're going to put those beans in here along with these leftover beans. I think I'll add about a cup of water. It's looking pretty good. I'm going to add about half a cup of tomato juice. And these were the tomatoes left over from the tacos last night. I might as well get rid of them. See, this is why I like to have a theme for a week, because the leftovers from last night are just going into this soup tonight. I am going to start adding some spices. I think I'll use a street taco and probably half a lime. I'm going to add some cumin. I did just taste it, though. It tastes fantastic. I took my roasted tomatoes out, and I roasted them just a little too long. I mean, they're fine, but I like to take them out while they're still juice because I like to use the juice, but they're going to be fine. I'm just going to take them up and put them in that pot now. I'm sure glad I put that aluminum foil down. That'd be a mess to clean up, wouldn't it? Anyway, I got the roasted tomatoes in the soup, and we're just going to kind of crush them. Ah, this is looking good. I love soup on a really cold day. Or any day, to be honest. I'm a soup gal. I'm going to add a cup of water. and a cup of tomato juice. And we'll stir that all up. That's going to be great. Now, if you wanted to make this easier, all you would have to do is buy a can of those fire roasted tomatoes. They're kind of high, but then you wouldn't have to roast the tomatoes. You know, honestly, if you didn't want to have to mess with spicing it yourself, buy a package of taco seasoning. You know, it is pretty hard to make my videos when you're snoring so loud. Now, the last thing to go in this soup is going to be this leftover rice from last night. So this really is last night's dinner remade into a soup. You don't want to put it in too soon, though. It'll swell up and, you know, won't be as good. Really, it's almost like a taco chili. And don't forget that cilantro to make it just look extra fancy. Well, that soup turned out delicious. No one would ever know it was full of leftovers if I didn't tell them. It just tastes like a brand new dish. And my husband loved it and I loved it. And it was great on a cold night like tonight. And don't forget, cilantro makes everything fancy.